What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Happy Tuesday. What's going on with you guys? How's everybody doing today? Come on in, come on in, come on in. Y'all know what to do. Hit that like button, take a seat down front. Hey. Let me say hi to everybody. What's up, Miss Sharon? Hey, Tracy. Hey, Corey. Lily is me. Hey, girl. Hey, what's going on? Shout out. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. Shout out to my mod who are here in the bushes and on the way. And shout out to my members who are going to be lit up in green as they come in. I hit another milestone today. So thank you so much. And shout out to you guys. I have hit 100 members. So I now have 100 members on my channel. And so I thank you guys so much. Again, we're growing, we're doing some good things over here. We got to keep the momentum. Now that Queens of Hip Hop, Lord, Queens of R&B is over with. We got to keep the momentum. So for those that are here, if you are new, thank you so much. I hope you stick around. Come on down and say hi. We don't bite. Hey, Lisa, what's going on? We don't bite. Y'all come on down and say hi. A couple of quick announcements and we're going to get into it. What's up, Janae? Hey, Lady D. So shout out to my new members. Again, I'm going to rev up the membership perks and all that good stuff because more and more people are joining the membership. For a while we were a small community, but we are growing, and so I will be revving up the things that we do on the membership side. The one thing I can say is for those who joined us for the members only live we did yesterday, we talked about that R. Kelly stuff. Remember, I told y'all, I was like, look, I'll bring it to the people when I can verify this information. But we actually talked about those text messages that ended up being posted on Neighborhood Talk and the Shade Room and everything. I actually already had that information, but I could not verify it. And I didn't want to put something that explosive and salacious out there without verifying where it came from. And I thought it came from the transcripts, but I was not certain. And so until I was able to verify that, I wasn't gonna bring it to the people. But y'all know we was on the membership side keying. Well, we wasn't keying because it wasn't funny, but we were on the membership side talking about it. Okay, so shouts out to my members who were in that live yesterday or caught the replay. Are the members going to get the Really Be at Freaknik Stories? You know what? Hey, Shanta, welcome. Shanta says she is a new subby. Y'all know what to do. So it's funny, Tracy, because I actually thought about that on my way home today. And I think I am going to do a members only story time about Freaknik. Now, I still ain't going to tell y'all everything. But I'll tell y'all about my Freaknik story. I think I've been doing YouTube for so long. There's stuff I've said, but I'll repeat it because it be so deep in the archives, child. But I'll do a story time on my Freaknik experience. Matter of fact, I'll make that the next live since Freaknik is like the talk of the town right now. So today we are going to talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville. Now listen, I'm going to say this every time I start talking about Love and Marriage Huntsville, I'm going to put this disclaimer out there, okay? First and foremost, I have been watching Love and Marriage Huntsville since its very first episode, okay? So I have been here longer than some of y'all who watch the show now, okay? I am not team anybody. I am not on one person's side or the other. I review the show as I see it. We don't have to agree, but we are going to disagree respectfully, okay? We're going to be respectful to each other in the chat. We're going to be respectful to each other in the comments. And we are going to be respectful to each other while we are discussing the show, whether it's live or a pre-recorded video, okay? Please and thank you. I really do want to review the show and I want to enjoy the show, but I'm telling you, I'm on the edge with it. But today we are going team common sense, right? Okay. But we are my Freaknik TikTok. So Mel sat down with Carlos King and did an interview with him to discuss, just kind of discuss some things and talk about this new season. They did do a separate video where they reviewed the first episode, but y'all know how I feel about people who are on the show and like the producers and stuff reviewing the show. It's a love-hate thing because again, they give you inside scoop, they give you behind the scenes tea that we like, but I think there's a bias level there too when you are reviewing your own show, when you are reviewing your own product. There's a bias level involved, and that's the kind of stuff that I don't really like. Okay. See, there go Aquarius goddess. No, that's not disrespectful. I'm just joking with you. I mean, you're not disrespectful to me. But she said, shout out to Melanie and her having to deal with her sorry A co-workers. Yeah, here we go. But she did have a conversation with Carlos. Now, I'm gonna say this. Again, I don't always agree with everything anybody does on the show. Even though Kimmy is my favorite on the show, there have been times when I haven't agreed with things that Kimmy has done or said as well. So am I biased to when it comes to Kimmy? I mean, maybe because I like Kimmy, but will I call her out when I feel like she's done something that I don't like? Yeah, I will, and I have, and like I said, that's just how I feel about it. Other than that, I don't have no favorites on the show. I don't like or dislike anybody any more than the other. Marceau amuses me. As much as Marceau irritates me, I think he's a male chauvinist, okay? But I find him to be hilarious, right? So if you are new to me or new to me reviewing Love and Marriage Huntsville, I'm just putting that out there. Now, let's get into what Carlos and Melody were talking about. First of all, let's be clear. Mel and Carlos are friends outside of the show. I use the word friends. Maybe the better word is friendly, but Carlos says that him and Mel talk on a regular basis all the time, and it's not always about the show. To me, when you work with somebody, or even if you work for somebody, if y'all get to a point where you guys are regularly having conversations that don't deal with work, you are building a friendship. Now, everybody has a different definition. Everybody has layers to friendship. So, but in my mind, they are friends. Now, they best friends? No, I'm not saying that, but I think they're friends. And that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. I just think that there were times, and the only reason why I say that is because there were times when they were interviewing, when Carlos was interviewing Mel, there were times when Mel would say something and Carlos would break out laughing. And I think because they do talk behind the scenes, I think there have been conversations had. Like, for example, there was a point towards the end of the interview where Mel said that she's not going to fake a relationship for a storyline. And Carlos could not stop laughing. And Mel was like, what? What's so funny? What's so funny? But I think she knew exactly why he was laughing. And I think she knew exactly what was funny. And I think they have had conversations offline as it relates to people having fake relationships. Now, of course, the first thing you might think is Martell and Sheree. But I don't even think it's just Martell and Sheree. I just think they've talked about fake storylines for reality TV in general, right? Do I think the Martell Sheree storyline is fake? I mean, do I think that they're really spending time together and they really like each other? Yeah. Do I think that it's a great romance and they talking? I mean, Martell couldn't even, production called Sheree his girlfriend, and Martell said we friends. So, I mean, they can't even agree on what their relationship is. Okay. Hey, Lauren, how you doing? So let's get into what they talked about. Okay. Well, I got a lot of notes here, so we got to go to it. What, Gigi, where you been, girl? Hey, boo. That's my boo right there. Hey, Gigi, girl. It's good to see you. We need to talk. I need to call. I don't even know if I still have your phone number because I think, didn't you change your number or something at one time? Girl, hit me up. My number ain't changed. So if you still got my number in a phone somewhere, call me. We need to talk, girl. We just need to catch up. I don't even mean to talk about no drama or no bull hockey. We just need to catch up. All right. So first they talked about the fact that this is the #1 show on the OWN network. And Carlos asked Melody, did you ever think, when you first pitched the show to me, did you ever think that it would be this? And Mel was like, she said, did I think it was probable? Yes. Did I know it was going to happen? No. And I can appreciate that. She said, you plant seeds for them to grow. You plant seeds for them to harvest. So why would you put something out there if you didn't expect it to grow or expect it to harvest? And I can appreciate that. And I felt like that was, a valid statement to make. Like, why would you do something if you don't think you could be the best at it or be good at it? You know what I'm saying? We have to remember that Love and Marriage Huntsville was one of the first. It wasn't the only. It was not the only, and it wasn't the first, but it was one of the first reality shows on the OWN network. Now we know, we know they had Flex and I love your smile. Flex and his wife, Shanice. We know that they had their reality show. We know Kim Whitley did her reality show. I think Holly Robinson, Pete's reality show, was on the OWN network their first 2 seasons. So we know they've done reality, but this was definitely one of the first. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't the first, but it was one of the first. So you have that. Now, Carlos asked, why do you think it's been so successful? And I felt like Melody found a very, I think she found, poetic is a good word, Lauren. She found a very poetic way of saying, because we had a lot of mess. She said, because we were real, we brought real storylines, we brought real issues, right out the gate. Yeah, you and your husband's infidelity out the gate. Look, I think the storyline season 1 with Letitia and Marceau, and her wanting to go back to work and him wanting her to stay home, I think that was a very, very good storyline, because it got people, what you want to do with a show is you want to give people a story that they can, one, believe and relate to, but also be a part of, right? So Letitia and Marceau and this whole, I want you to stay home, I don't want you to stay home, I want to go back to work, the kids are getting older. That was a very relatable storyline, right? And then, of course, the mess of Martell and Melody, like, I will never, ever, ever forget that scene at Maurice and Kimmy's wedding when they were on top of that boat and Martell called at the time, all we knew was she was the mistress, when he called her his girlfriend. And then when they were packing for the wedding and they got into that argument, and Martell point blank told Melody, because you wasn't giving me head, I went out and found another woman. He said, because you weren't doing the things I needed you to do in the bedroom. Listen, if you did not find a way to sink your teeth into that, then baby, reality TV just ain't for you. Because that right there, boom. I think we also became vested in Maurice and Kimmy with the wedding, of course, we came in at the end. I mean, by the time we met them, they were already engaged. The wedding was planned, all of that. So we didn't see like the relationship part of it and the courting and all of that, which we've sort of done some backtracking throughout the show. So I think, as somebody who watched it from day one, definitely season 1 gave us some stuff, and I can agree with Mel on that, it gave us those real stuff. Tisha was living in the attic for the last 15 years. I'm so happy she's out of y'all so silly. I agree with you, correct. I think that's why Melody's fan base is so strong, and I think that's why they are so rabid, is because they internalize Melody's experience. If you had a husband that cheated on you, if you had a husband that had a baby on you, if you had a husband that was a narcissist about cheating on you and having a baby on you, yeah, women can relate to that. And I agree. I think that's why so many women have, or mellometers, because I can't say they're all women, but I think that's why so many mellometers are so, they're rabid fans. They really are. And I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but it is what it is. So then they talked about going into this season, and I think they were talking about Stormy or whatever. And Mel said, listen, everybody knows, even after the last couple of reunions, everybody knows at the end of the season, I take a break. She said, filming is very hard on me, especially with everything that's happened with her and Martell. She talked later on in the interview, she talked about how it's very, very, very hard to film with Martell because of so many things that are going on behind the scenes that she's dealing with him. And the fact that Martell cannot separate reality TV from reality. He takes every little inch and he thinks it means something. So she said, if I show up for something and I film with him, then in his mind, it means more than just me going to work and doing my job. And it's a lot on me. So at the end of every season, I take a break. She said, and they know that. And Carlos even co-signed and said, yeah, she even takes a break from production. Like, she don't call us. She doesn't respond to us until she is done doing whatever it is that she wants to do, taking a vacation, spending time with the kids, working on one of her businesses. He said she does it to us. So, and again, I'm okay. I can listen. My problem with Mel isn't that she does these things. My problem with Mel is that she does these things, but she makes it seem like it's something different, in my opinion. Don't come for me, in my opinion. So, like, for example, when she saw Stormy and she was like, I said we talk. Listen, let me tell you something. My biggest problem with Melody is that Melody is one of those people that piss on your leg and tell you it's raining. And y'all know how I feel about that. I don't like it. People feel energy. People feel energy. She said that the thing with Stormy was when they were at the reunion, she said, first of all, she did speak to Stormy at the reunion. And again, she said, I saw her. I said, hey, girl. I said, you look nice. Again, Melody is taking something literal. I don't think Stormy literally meant we did not speak. I think Stormy meant we didn't have like a real conversation. Seeing me at the reunion saying, hey, girl, giving me a hug and saying I look nice, that is not a conversation. That is not we spoke. If I see somebody out in the streets and they say hi to me and they say, girl, you look good, and we keep on moving, if somebody be like, did you speak to so-and-so? I'll be like, no, we ain't really talk. Because it's not a conversation. Yeah, so I understand what Stormy was saying when she said me and Mel didn't talk at the reunion. Now, do people need to articulate themselves better? Should Stormy have said, well, we didn't really have much of a conversation? Sure. Could Stormy have said, well, I mean, we said hi and bye, but that's it. Yeah, she absolutely could have been more clear about that. But again, for Mel to say, I did speak to her, I said hi, and da-da-da-da-da. Okay. So then she was like, well, Stormy said that we were just building a friendship. So I don't understand how she could expect to talk to me like that when we're just building a friendship. Okay, so this is what I mean when I say people feel energy. If me and you are cool, no, we may not be best friends, but if we're talking every day, if we're texting every day, if we're going to lunch 2 or 3 times a week, if I'm coming by your place or you coming by my place outside of filming, if we are building this friendship and then all of a sudden you go radio silent, and when I see you, I'm like, girl, you good? Are we good? Stormy, I'm not going to speak for Stormy, but I'm going to say people feel your energy, right? People feel your energy. So Stormy, was Stormy feeling that Mel's energy was changing? I think that's what she was feeling. Hey, Xavier. Hey, you guys coming in. I feel like that's what she was feeling, was that Mel's energy was changing. Now, why was Mel's energy changing? I'm going to tell you, I am a Cancer. That is my astrological sign. I'm a Cancer. I am very sensitive to energy. And I usually can feel people's energy changing around me before they even realize that their energy has changed around me. And I can feel it. And I'll say, so-and-so acting funny. Or I can say, I don't know what's up. I ain't talked to something's up with so-and-so. Now, some people be like, Cancers are so sensitive. We are, but we're usually right. We're just usually ahead of the curve. You know what I'm saying? We're usually ahead of the curve. So I don't know what Stormy is. I'm just talking about me. There have been times when there's been a situation with somebody and I'll ask you, I'll be like, is everything good? Are we cool? And they'll be like, yeah, why are you tripping? Yeah, we're good. And then 6 months down the road, they ain't messing with me no more. And I'm like, what's going on? And now all of a sudden it's a situation. And I'm like, I knew it. I wasn't crazy. I felt something. I felt something. So for me, I'm not saying that that's what happened with Stormy and Mel. I'm just saying that I know for me, I can feel when people's energy shifts. And when Stormy was like, she felt like something was off. She felt like something was off. I feel like that's where she was coming from. The same thing that Destiny said. Destiny was like, something was different. When you are usually one way with somebody and then you're a different way with somebody, people feel it. And it's, and again, does Melody have the right to not have people in her space that she doesn't want to have in her space? Yes. But don't act like people are crazy when they realize that that's what's happening. And see, that's what Melody does that drives me crazy. Melody will be like, no, I don't have a problem. No, nothing's wrong. No, nothing's different. No, I'm fine. And then you find out later that it was something and she wasn't fine. You know what I'm saying? And that's my problem. That's one of my frustrations. And again, the mellometers ain't gotta like it, but that's how I feel. That's how I see it. So Mel said that she felt like Stormy was sort of contradicting herself. And I don't feel like it was a contradiction. I felt like Stormy was saying, listen, we were building a friendship, but our interaction with each other was one way, and then it changed. And yes, I know people are like, well, Mel's phone was hacked and da-da-da-da-da. That's fine. When you change your phone number, you make sure that the people that you want to be able to get in contact with you are able to get in contact with you. And the biggest thing for me was when Melody was like, when Stormy was talking to Mel at the event, and Stormy was like, well, I texted you and I this and I that, and I haven't heard from you. Funny acting, right? And Mel's response was, well, you didn't, did you try to call me? Well, you didn't realize that my number had been disconnected, my number changed. So that tells me that you didn't try to call Stormy either. That means you didn't reach out to Stormy either. So again, don't make us feel like Stormy's crazy, because that means that in that window of time, you ain't reach out to her. She said, well, yeah, I was texting you. You never responded. I just thought you were ignoring me. So that tells me you never tried to text Stormy. That means you never reached out to Stormy. So yes, fine. Melody's phone was hacked and she changed her number. That's fine. I'm okay with that, or everything that she had going on with Martell. But that tells me that Stormy wasn't on the list of people that you wanted to have your new number, or she would have. That's how I feel about it. If you said we're only building, if I say I take a break annually on the same manner, why expect anything? Folks have a problem with people setting boundaries without explanation. I do have a problem with that. Yep, you're right. I do. If me and you, whether, like I already explained that, I think you might have just came in goody, and that's fine. But if we are building a relationship, but we've established a certain pattern of when and how we communicate, and that pattern changes, yes, I do expect an explanation. I do. Now, are you obligated to have me in your space when you don't want me in your space? No. But if me and you talk every day, and all of a sudden we stopped, and I'm not saying they did, I'm just giving y'all an example. And if all of a sudden we stop talking, and then fast forward, I don't talk to you for 3 months, and I'm reaching out to you and I haven't talked to you, yeah, I would feel some kind of way. And if we're building a friendship, why wouldn't you? Anyway, moving on. Okay. She said she didn't have an issue with Stormy prior to, I'm sure now she got an issue with Stormy, but prior to, she said that they explained how Stormy got on the show. So what happened was Melody had pitched Stormy to producers, but only to find out that producers had actually already talked to Stormy, because Stormy she's from Mississippi, and they had talked to her about being on Bell Collective, but realized that she lived too far out of the range of filming. She lived like 2 hours outside of Jackson. So fast forward, she ended up moving. She ended up moving to Huntsville. Her and Mel became cool, and Mel pitched her to producers, and they were like, wait a minute, Stormy still? Oh, wait a minute. We talked to her. We were interested in her joining the show, and that's sort of how it happened. So then it started making me think a little bit, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I started thinking a little bit. I said, now, Stormy, did you move to Huntsville to get on the show? Because if you were living in Mississippi and you were living about 2 hours outside of Jackson and you were trying to get on Bell Collective, but they said, hey, we don't film that, that's too far out for us to film. I would be curious. And I ain't accusing Stormy of nothing, y'all. These are just the thoughts that go through my mind. When I was listening, this is the first thing that popped in my head. I was thinking, now I'm interested in finding out when exactly Stormy decided to move to Huntsville and why. Now we know that they say that Huntsville is the #1 real estate area for growth. Like they talk about that. So maybe it was just coincidental. But I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I did side-eye for a second. I said, so wait a minute. You were trying to get on Bell Collective, but you didn't live in the right location. You decided to relocate, and you just happened to relocate in Huntsville? Coinky dink. Now again, I'm sure that there may have been a totally different reason for why they moved to Huntsville, but I would be very curious to find out why, because you could have established your warehouse anywhere. If you were already living in Mississippi, you could buy a warehouse. I know they built, they have this ranch, this beautiful ranch, all this property. Child, they got property in Mississippi. You could have built your warehouse or bought your warehouse in Mississippi. Letitia just did it. Letitia Rogers from Bell Collective. She just bought a whole commercial property and turned it into her warehouse. We're going to see that on season 3 of Bell Collective. But anyway, so moving on. Like I said, I'm just coinky dinky. Melody said that she's always been the kind of person to try to help people. Better taxes, maybe. That's what I'm saying. SCK, it may be a very valid reason that don't have nothing to do with the show. But like I said, as I'm listening to the interview, it just makes me think. I'm sure that Stormy is going to say there was a very good reason, da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm just telling you it made me side-eye. That's all. Don't mean that it's true. But y'all know I be thinking about these things. Y'all know that's how my brain works now. All right. So Melody said that she always tries to help people, and that a lot of times she feels like it's to her detriment. Carlos asked her, do you think, before I get to that, let me talk about Destiny. But then they talk about how Destiny got on the show. Now, again, it was a little bit of both. Melody brought Destiny's name to producers, but then come to find out that Melody and LeBaric had actually paid a consulting fee. Just like, remember, let's go all the way back. Mel and Martell pitched the show to Carlos. They paid, it was a certain amount of money that you had to pay to consult with Carlos to pitch a show to him. They paid that consulting fee. They pitched the show to Carlos. So what Carlos said was, come to find out, after they had already talked to Destiny and LeBaric, come to find out they paid this consulting fee to talk to Carlos and LeBaric. Talk to Carlos again. And Carlos was like, hey, y'all didn't have to do this. Like, y'all didn't have to go through all of this. We had already talked to y'all once. Now, what we found out, though, is that they didn't really love Destiny in the first interview. And Mel said to them, hey, go talk to her again. She really is a good person. She's going to bring the drama. She's got a real personality. I think you'll like her. And they circled back around. And Carlos verified that. He was like, he said without saying, yeah, we wasn't really feeling her. He said it, pretty much without saying it in those words. And so that's kind of how Destiny got on the show. So Carlos was like, do you miss Destiny's friendship. And Mel was like, look, I just met Destiny in 2018. I ain't know her to miss her. Now, again, it's a personality thing. It's a personality thing. Because I've had friends that I met and I only had for 2 or 3 years. And when the friendship was over, it did hurt. It hurt. It bothered me. Now, I mean, I ain't gonna have no nervous breakdown behind it, but it bothered me. It hurt. I mean, you become close to somebody, you share your life with somebody. I mean, they went through some things, but I could also understand Melody saying, look, I ain't known her that long. I mean, it is what it is. We're not friends anymore. Okay. Martell asked her, do you think people befriend you for an opportunity to get on the show? And she says, yes. I said, okie dokie. Destiny would be perfect for this season. Destiny's problem is she didn't want to share none of her real life. And, I told you all the time, that's the one thing that Andy says about the show. That's the one thing that Andy says about the show. Andy says, if you're not giving me nothing, I can't use you. If nobody wants to film with you, you ain't giving. And so, what could Carlos do with somebody like Destiny who doesn't want to be real about what she has going on? I don't know if Destiny got fired or Destiny got reduced to a friend of the show. I know that we see her this season, but I do not think she regularly filmed. So I guess, yeah, for all intents and purposes, yeah, I guess she got fired. Yeah. Okay. Carlos said the one thing that he loves about Melody is that Melody always does what's best for the show, not necessarily what's best for her. So what he meant by that is, she will recommend people for the show that she thinks will be good for the show, but not necessarily people that she'll get along with or people that she's friends with. He said when they brought on Destiny and LeBaric, they were trying to balance out the show. He said we had 2 married couples that were family, and then of course Melody and Martell. So they were looking for another couple to sort of balance that out, so it wouldn't always be like the Scotts and Melody and Martell. Because remember when Destiny and LeBaric came on, that's when Melody and Martell had gotten back together, and when that season that she was pregnant, and they got back together. And he said that they tested a lot of people before they decided on Destiny and LeBaric. They tested a lot of people, so she wasn't their first choice. I agree, Phil, and I told you, I mean, honestly, y'all know how I feel about Carlos. As a producer, I think he's a great producer, but I also think he's messy, and I don't like the fact that he is so active with his opinions on social media. But that's my opinion. She says she doesn't seek people to be on the show. She said she doesn't bring people on the show to speak for her, to be her mouthpiece, to fight for her. She said generally people come to her. She doesn't go out looking for people. So they said that this season is going to be a healing journey. We're going to see that Melody is open to mending her relationships, especially with Tisha. And, Carlos was giving Mel all this praise about how, you were so open to it, and I really appreciate it. And I was surprised that you were so open to healing your relationships. And Mel was like, okay, that's all good, Carlos, but we ain't going to act like you ain't fly down to Huntsville and get in our ass. And if you remember, Carlos did say that when he was talking about the Real Housewives of Potomac, and he was talking about how bad everything was with the Real. He said, I flew to Huntsville and I dug in their ass because last season was just too toxic. It was just too much. And I told them they got to get it together. So I think a lot of Melody's openness to reconciliation and working with people, I think has a lot to do with that conversation. Now, the one thing Carlos made it clear was that Mel ain't going nowhere. He was like, I'm not firing Mel. And Mel talked about, we'll get to that in a minute, but Mel talked about things that make her want to leave the show. And Carlos was like, what? I never knew you were trying to leave the show, which I don't believe. I don't believe that Carlos and Mel never had a conversation about her leaving the show. I just don't believe that. Now, again, I can't say it ain't true for a fact. I'm just saying I believe that they've had a conversation about Mel leaving the show. I believe that they've negotiated about what it will take to keep Mel on the show, and all of that. And don't get me wrong, Mel is she, her mellometers alone are a good reason, but yeah. But he said that's why she's a producer, because she does look at things through a producer's lens. Yeah, I don't know, Phil. I don't even know. She did thank him for the 100th episode. She said, I thank you for that. I thank you for that. Now, I didn't look at it because I just don't like, I'm not interested in watching an episode about stuff I saw the first time. I didn't look at the Ready to Love 100th episode. I didn't look at Love, Marriage, Huntsville. I don't like those kind of shows. I don't care. I don't need to relive. I was there, so I didn't watch it. So I didn't realize it was a male love fest, but I believe y'all. I believe y'all. She said she don't know Stormy's mama because they brought up. Carlos said that people have been saying, "Oh, so y'all brought on Stormy's mother to replace Miss Wanda." And Mel was like, "I don't know her. Like, I've only met her 3 or 4 times. She's not in my age group. She's not somebody that I would hang around." Hey, Claudia, thank you for the super chat, my love. Thank you so much. Did everybody hit that like button when they came in? I put that as a question so I wouldn't have to keep saying it over and over again. I got a 90% yes. So 90% y'all said that y'all hit that like button. Why 10% say no? That means go hit it. That means go hit it. If you haven't hit the like button, that means go hit it. Thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, well, we got 100. Then y'all did. It's 108 people in the room. Thank y'all. See, I'm gonna do that more often because then I don't have to keep stopping and saying hit the like button, hit the like button. So that worked out good. Thank you. And then Mel said something that it was shady, but it wasn't bad shade. It was really fun shade. She was like, I hope that I don't ever feel the need to address my children's friends like that. She said, and speaking about Stormy's mother, and I'm with her on that. Like, I am exhausted. And the reality is, because I do this for a living, because I deal with kids for a living, and I see these parents, and I know that in 20 years, these same kids are going to be dealing with their parents and these same personalities. I know that the Miss Wandas of the world and Stormy's mama and the Mama D's and I know these people are real. Mama Joyce. I know these are real mamas. Like, they're not, are they exaggerating for the camera? Yeah. But these people are real people. I know that. And I think it is ridiculous. I think it is ridiculous that you have a grown-ass daughter. Stormy is a grown-ass woman. She is married with her own child. She is running a $1 million business. So y'all say, I'm sure it is. I didn't mean that to be shady. I'm just saying I haven't Googled it. But she is running the successful business. She doesn't need her mama to intervene for her. Let me tell you something about my mama. Let me tell y'all something about my mama. I have had friends that my mother has absolutely hated. Absolutely hated. And do you know, I never knew until I was no longer friends with that person. And even then, it was generally me talking to my mom and her giving me her opinion after the fact, and I brought it up. She still didn't come to me and say, well, I never did like her. Oh, I didn't think he was the right one for you. No, my mama, and my mother always said, she said, yeah, because the more I said no, the more you would say yes. So I just let as long as it wasn't something that was putting my life in danger, she was like, you had to figure it out. But yeah, my mother has told me that. And so my thing is, at a certain point, I'm exhausted with these parents and this overbearing I'm exhausted with the Miss Wandas of the world. I'm exhausted with, like Stormy's mama is gonna wear me out this season, and I'm trying to be respectful of people's parents. But that I am exhausted with it, y'all. I'm just telling y'all the truth. I'm exhausted with it, and so I didn't like the fact that Stormy mama felt like it was appropriate to go down to social media and address Melody, and I didn't like the fact that when Stormy was trying to tell her mother to stop, that she didn't like it and that she wishes she would stop, her mother's response was, I'm gonna do what I want to do. Because again, as Stormy is still her daughter, and Stormy still has to stay respectful. What you gonna do? Cuss your mama out? What you gonna do? Take her phone? Like, there's nothing you can do to stop her. But I feel like Stormy, in a respectful manner, said, Ma, you are making things harder for me. Ma, I really wish you wouldn't do that. Ma, please stop. It's the same thing that like Candy with Mama Joyce. People used to always get on Candy about, you need to control your mama. How Candy gonna control her mama? We have seen Candy try to address her mama, and her mama responds the same way. What you talking about? I'm your mama. I'm gonna do what I want to do. What do you mean? Blah blah blah. Like, and we have seen Mama Joyce manipulate. That's a whole nother conversation. I won't go down that road. But we've seen Mama Joyce manipulate Candy. Like with that house situation a few seasons ago, when Candy gave that woman a perfectly good house, she wanted to come in and do all these renovations. Her little boy toy up the messed up the renovations, and then Candy ended up just buying her mama a whole new house. If that was a manipulation 101, I don't know what is. Candy can control her mama by using the purse strings. Yeah, but I still don't think that's going to control. I think that, honestly, I think that's going to make Candy's life worse. And what I mean by that is this. Having seen this up close and personal in my life, I'm not going to get into the details of how and who. It makes it worse when you can control the purse strings and you are dealing with someone with the personality of a Mama Joyce. They manipulate you to the point where you feel so guilty. They can make you feel like you are the worst person in the world. You're the worst child in the world. How dare you do this to your mother? How dare you deprive your mother? How dare you? I did this for you. I did that for you. I took you to singing lessons. I was on tour with you. Who were you on the phone with when the girls were treating you bad in the group? You called your mama. How could you do this? It's just me and you. Your brother died and it's just the two of us, and it was always the two of us. Your daddy wasn't shit. Your daddy wasn't around for you. Who helped you raise your daughter when you had a baby and you were still out there on the road running around and doing this and doing that? See that? So honestly, with somebody like because again, I done seen it with somebody like a Mama Joyce. It's just easier to give it to her. And that doesn't mean, and part of the problem is because Candy has established that. Candy has established that as a part of their relationship. So it's hard now, fast forward 20 years later, to say, Mama, if you don't start acting right, I ain't paying your rent or your mortgage or whatever. It's very hard to do it on the back end. And Candy probably does carry a lot of guilt from the brother dying, and her mother did help her raise Riley, and all it, like, she probably, and her mother probably never lets her forget it. Her Mama Joyce probably never lets Candy forget she was the one. Gotta grow a heart. Well, Xavier, I disagree with that, but I understand where you're coming from. We have to stop seeing our parents' care and attention as privileges and rather as obligations that we've taken upon ourselves. Yeah, I agree. I disagree, but I understand where you're coming from. Candy doesn't have boundaries. I agree with that. Now, I do agree that Candy does not have boundaries, and Candy should set boundaries. Listen, do I think Candy's doing it? Do I think Candy has done everything perfectly? No, but I definitely understand. I definitely understand how Candy has allowed it to get to this point. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, this ain't Candy, child. Let's get back to it because at 9 o'clock, we're going to be heading over to Giving You the Real Tea's house. They have allowed me to be on Roast and Review tonight for the season finale of the Real Housewives. See, y'all got me saying Real Housewives. For the season finale of Escape R&B, Queens of R&B Escape at SWV. So I'll be over there at 9 o'clock. So we got to hurry up and get this done, child. Now Carlos said something that I disagree with. He said Melody never runs from a scene. And I put in parentheses, I disagree. I think there have been many times that Melody has run from a scene. Now, do I think that there are times that Melody left where she should have left, or when I understand why she left? Yes. Do I think there were times when Melody left that I feel like she should have stayed? Yes. But don't say she never left a scene, because she did. They said that they don't make Melody film anything she doesn't want to film because of how hard this has been with her filming with Martell. And I understand that. I do. I understand that this divorce and Martell's personality and him being the narcissist that he is has made it very hard for Mel a lot of times. I do. I understand that. And honestly, that's one of the things that bothers me about some of the other housewives shows is a lot of times people complain, the fans complain about, well, why did they invite that person if they know they don't like that person? Or why did they go over that person's house and they know they don't like that person? And I've told y'all a million times, if you don't show up, you don't get paid. So it makes it look fake, and it makes it not ring real when you are forcing people to film with each other that clearly have issues. I understand from a production standpoint why they do it. Of course, they want to constantly create the conversation and the drama and the moment. Like, I understand why they do it from a production standpoint, but from a fan standpoint, we're like, look, if we know that Martell is manipulating her, or we know that Martell is running around telling everybody blah, 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 then why are we making her sit there with this man? You know what I'm saying? So I understand why they did it. And again, I can respect that, you know, and like one thing Carlos said was, this is one of the first, he said the first time, I don't know if it's the first time, but I'm going to say this is one of the first times that we've seen on reality TV where people get divorced, and they're still forced to be around each other, because Martell was just as equal part of the show as Mel was. Whereas on these reality shows, I mean, where like the housewife shows, the show is about the wives. So when they get divorced, generally that's it. You know, Portia got divorced, child. We never saw old boy again, Cordell again. Peter, you know, as much as Peter was a part of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, once him and Cynthia got divorced, now we see him pop up in cameos here or there, but he's not a part of the show anymore. Now, again, like I said, we did see him pop up. We can't get rid of Peter Thomas, but he's not a part of the show. So from that perspective, I did understand. I did understand that. Phil said that's BS. He said, heavy is the head that wears the crown. Now, I can't disagree with you on that one. All right. Mel said that she is dating, but it's private and she's not going to bring it on the show. She said if and when she's ready to bring it on the show, she know how to call Carlos, and I'm sure Carlos will be really ready to do that. And again, I can respect that, and I can understand why Mel is in no rush to put her current situation on the show. I mean, she doesn't post this guy on social media or anything. I remember her posting videos and stuff on Valentine's Day. I guess her and the guy went away for Valentine's Day. They went somewhere tropical because they were on the beach and stuff. And of course, everybody was speculating. But I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay with her saying, listen, until this is something I know that is solid enough for me to share, I ain't sharing it. And I can respect that. And before somebody say, well, Destiny, I'm gonna say the difference with Destiny is, by the time we got to Destiny's boyfriend, Destiny had hidden so much and lied about so much. I think it was maybe her last chance to get a storyline. I knew somebody was gonna say that. I feel like with Destiny, on its surface, it's the same thing, but when you get into the nooks and cranny, I think that the difference is, again, Destiny hid her divorce. Destiny hid a lot about her relationship with LeBerick. Now, I know she said some of it she could not get into because of legal issues. And again, that I respect. Destiny didn't even want to be honest about what was going on with the business. I mean, again, when she finally did talk about stuff, she was forced to talk about these things. She did talk about having a boyfriend. And part of it was she told Carlos that they would film and then they didn't. And that makes a difference too. She told him that they would film and then they didn't film. And so I think at a certain point production gets tired. You know, the difference too is Melody gives them so much more. Like Melody gives them the relationship with her kids. Melody gives them, I mean, hell, Melody still gives them drama between her and Martell. You know what I'm saying? Melody still gives him drama about that. She still films with Martell. So I think Melody gives them so much more. And remember at the reunion last year when Kimmy was like, "Girl, there are times when I am literally trying to drag stuff out of you and you won't talk, you won't share, you won't have a conversation." So I understand that people want to make the comparison, but I do think there's a difference. That's my opinion. Because Destiny wasn't giving anything on any level, whereas Melody does give a lot. She just isn't giving that. And again, I can respect that. I can respect that. Kimmy is fake to you. Well, I love Kimmy. I know other people have said they feel like Kimmy's fake. I don't see it, but I respect your point of view on it. The main difference is Mel shared her husband's infidelity, a baby, a divorce, and showed the aftermath. Her drama carried the show for seasons. Destiny was never open, and they gave her ample opportunity. Yep, I agree. Two more things, and then we're gonna get out of here. Destiny showed the boyfriend too. Right. Because I believe that there's a Christmas party that was filmed, and the boyfriend was at the Christmas party, and Destiny was there. So again, I think we're going to see Destiny. I just don't think she's a full-time member. Again, I don't even know if she's a friend of the damn show. But we know she's not a full-time member. We didn't see her in the opening credits or anything. So, now, right before I went live, I did see a video that talked about the ratings being the ratings were low. The season premiere ratings were low. And here's my opinion about why. Because one, I didn't get a chance to look at the video, and y'all know I don't really follow I don't really follow the ratings and stuff like that. But I do believe that the ratings are low, and here's why I believe the ratings are low. The ratings are low for the same reason why don't nobody want to review the show. Nobody wants to review this show. And when I say nobody, I know that's a strong statement, so let me not say nobody. A lot of YouTubers do not want to review this show because the fans are exhausting. The mellow meters, the anti-mellow meters, it is exhausting. And it is hard reviewing this show. Because again, I have no problem with people having a difference of opinion. I have a problem when people attack because of the difference of opinion. That's the problem I have. You guys have disagreed with me in a lot of areas while I was talking. Y'all disagree with each other in the chat. But thank you for the chat staying respectable. Respectful. That's what I'm looking for, not respectable. Thank you guys for staying respectful to me. You know what I'm saying? I know there are people in this chat that's not agreeing with a lot of what I'm saying. But if you guys, and I know some of y'all do know because y'all watch a lot of other YouTubers. But if you guys really knew what we deal with reviewing this show, when we give an opinion that is contrary to a lot of the fans, if y'all only knew how bad it is and how bad it gets, it is a lot. You know, and I'm not saying anybody should leave or this, that, the other. But when you are watching a show that has a rabid fan base, well, you're reviewing a show. Let me change that. It just takes it takes something out of it. That is why I stopped doing Basketball Wives, because the season that OG was on there and I didn't like OG, all of a sudden I was a colorist. I was this, I was that. And I that was the first time in my YouTube career that I got the types of comments that I got. Thank you, to Davlin. I want to make sure I'm saying your name right. Thank you for becoming a member. Mwah. Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome, welcome. The names, and I've told y'all this before, the names that I got called. Oh, I'll never forget. Somebody called me a fat gorilla. And I said, let me, and I don't even think I responded to that person. I think I just deleted it and kept it going. But I'm thinking to myself, so let me understand something here. You don't like my opinion because you say I'm a colorist because I don't like OG. Right? I'm a colorist because I don't like OG. But then you call me a gorilla. Like, I'm going to need you to make that make sense. So I'm a colorist because I don't like OG, but I'm a gorilla. You know, thank you. Thank you so much, D. Oh, thank you guys for becoming members. Mwah. Personally, I stumbled upon your show. You keep it classy, give great commentary. You're awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And listen, there are some people in this chat that we don't hardly ever agree. Me and Cali Girl don't hardly ever agree, but I love her point of view. I love her commentary. And we don't have to always agree. SCK 1070 found me. I don't know when you found me. I remember when you started commenting during season 5 of The Real Housewives of Potomac, and we did not agree. We didn't agree, but she's still here, and we have and we dialogue. And I try to just keep it respectful. I keep wanting to say respectable. I try to keep it respectful because, listen, we don't always have to agree to have a good conversation. It would be boring if we all agreed. It would be boring if we all agreed. So honestly, I feel like the ratings are down. Now, that doesn't mean they won't come back up, but I do feel like the ratings are down because a lot of people are exhausted with Love and Marriage Huntsville. And I also think they're not giving us enough time. You're not giving us time to miss it. Oh, well, thank you, D. I've been here long enough. I might as well join. Thank you, boo. Yeah, that's the other thing, too. You're not giving us time to miss the show. We literally just had the reunion was in November, I think. Girl, Carlos, we ain't had time to miss it. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying we need 2 years or nothing, but can you give us time to miss the show? And I think that's part of it, too. Oh, thank you, T. Jones. You're the best blogger. You disagree and give space. I'm sick of hearing all the time calling. Oh, the name calling. Excuse me. I'm all the time calling. Well, they gave us 6 months. That's traditional. Oh, not in reality TV. It's usually not. Is it? Maybe it is, child. I don't know. But I just feel like I ain't had time to miss it. Now, the last thing I want to say, I was going to do this as a separate video, but I'm going to just go ahead and do it as the same video. There was a, y'all know how OWN drops these digital exclusives, which I absolutely hate. I hate the digital exclusives because I feel like give me the whole damn show when you show it. Like, I don't like those digital exclusives. If it was good enough for you to show it to us, then you should have kept it in the show. But either way, there was a digital exclusive that with Martell and his mom. And I'm gonna let you guys listen to it. Hold on. I'm gonna let you guys listen to it. It hasn't been 6 months. Yeah, the reunion. I didn't think it had been 6 months because we're only in April. It hasn't been 6 months. Yeah, it hasn't been 6 months. I enjoy what you do and keep it moving. If I don't agree, it's all entertainment. Yeah, thank you so much. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes people can be so daggone a lot. So daggone a lot. Okay. I'm gonna let y'all hear it. The digital, the OWN exclusive. You can go over to YouTube, OWN channel on YouTube, and y'all can get it. I had it queued up, but then I lost it, Charles. Sorry, y'all. But let's listen to it. It's Martell and his mama. First of all, let's start from the beginning and work our way back. Martell's mama is an enabler. But we're gonna listen to it.
like no men watching the kids, and we went to court, and asked for us to have a mediation, and I just asked for 6 simple things, like no men watching the kids, and if you fly to town, make sure you call me before you call any other thing, so give me first right, and I'm gonna do the same thing.
At least you can call and you be willing to watch your kids.
Right.
You got a lot of daddies out here don't care about the kids.
See, first of all, I get so sick of people giving people credit for doing what they supposed to do. She talking about something, at least you call and you willing to be around your kids. What you mean willing to be around your kids? They're your damn kids. Second of all, you don't need, right, the reunion just ended in January. It is April. Can you at least give us till July? Can you give us time to miss the show? Anyway, that's we already talked about that. So you were sitting there talking to your mother, and did y'all hear Martell say, we went to mediation, I only asked for 6 things. Sir, what? First of all, when the kids are with her, they are with her. You don't get to tell her who can babysit the kids. I don't want any men watching the kids. Why? You don't get to tell her who gets to watch your kids. And vice versa. Then you said, just give me the first right when you go out of town. You don't, sir. I don't think you understand how custody works. When the kids are with me, they are my responsibility. When they are with you, they're your responsibility. You are the father, just like I am the mother. So I know how to take care of my kids, and I have to trust that you know how to take care of the kids. And if I feel like you are putting our kids in some sort of physical or emotional danger, then I can come back and try to get some sort of custody. But just because her brother, who happens to be gay, is watching the kids, that is not putting them in any kind of danger. He is her relative. And you don't get to make a decision about who is watching the kids. Dude, all right, I'm sorry. Let me finish talking.
Yeah, if I was that type of father, then she'll be trying to chase me down then. If I was a dad that wasn't here, then she's trying to chase me down. But she just said basically no. And she said she won't feel custody.
When keeping it real goes too far, you started this custody fight, Martell. So what you don't do is now you can't be mad at Mel because she done flipped the script on you. You started it. You sued her for full custody. Don't get mad because now she's in a better position. And now she's decided, oh, I want custody too now. Hey, Mr. Willie Brown, how you doing, boo?
She ain't want custody.
I asked for full custody because I didn't like something.
Then the mama gonna say she ain't want full custody at first. Oh, so now she wrong for not wanting to try to take the kids away from their daddy. So now she wrong for not asking for full custody at the divorce because she was trying to allow the kids to have a relationship with their father. Really? Wow. Okay. Let's not forget. No, I'm gonna leave that there.
That's what prompted her to say now she won't full custody. So we have to try.
What?
Right.
With them y'all's kids, y'all should be able to work something out.
All right.
Because, to have somebody to tell you how to do with your kids, I wouldn't tell nobody.
Oh my God. When I heard that, I was like, does she hear herself talking? Does she hear herself talking? She said, to have somebody to tell you what you can do with your own kids, that ain't right. That's what Martell is trying to do to Melody. That is exactly what Martell is trying to do to Melody, to tell her how to raise her own kids. Ma'am, are you listening to yourself?
I'm trying to talk to her like let's come to an agreement. She don't want to do it. I'm like, why not? Why do we need to go and spend $40,000-$50,000? You know what I'm saying?
Sir, you started it. You started it. You talking about something. I said, can we just go and we can work this out? She don't even, y'all can see the look on his face. He's like, she don't even want to do it. You started this. Why do we need to go and spend $40,000-$50,000? You started it.
My attorney sent me that 10,000 deal for 20 some days. I got mad at him. 20 some days. When we were in court, I said that I would much rather go to mediation so we can go ahead and resolve this instead of going to trial and things of that nature. Because to me, it's all unnecessary. Melody and her objected to that, but the judge granted it to us or whatnot. So, I paid for mediation. I sent over my request to Melody and her attorney. They stayed on it for about 30, 40 minutes to only send back, a request of she just wants full custody. I'm like, what? So I see there was no compromise, and so I told my attorney we're not going back and forth.
Again, compromise goes both ways. You sent over a list. You sent a list of 6 requests, and you said that she's not trying to compromise. Where's your compromise? Where's your compromise? Because again, I don't see where Mel is wrong. Now, listen, I know some of y'all think I don't like Mel or whatever, but I'm 100% team Mel on this. Now, when it comes to this, I'm Melometer because I'm 100% team Mel on this. And I would have done exactly what Mel did. I'd have been like, well, look, I was trying to say let's have shared custody, but clearly me and you can't co-parent. We can't do this week on, week off thing. Okay, Janae, thank you, my love. We can't do this week on, week off thing. So listen, let me just get full custody. You'll get visitation, and then we ain't got to worry about it.
There are more ways to watch.
Okay, so that was the clip. For more information. And honestly, I think part of this is money. Martell, you done ran out of money, bruh. You bit off something you can't chew. Thank you. Thank you for the Cash App. I appreciate it, Janae. Thank you, my love. Thank you so much. That's me, really, B. I'm not usually team Mel, but when it comes to Martell, I'm team Mel all day. Yeah, when it comes to Mel, when it comes to Martell, it ain't going to be too many things that I'm going. And the thing is this. I understand his concern with a lot of people babysitting the kids, but that ain't what his concern is. His concern is about one person. And you showed your hand when you were like, I don't want no men babysitting my kids. So it's okay if she has different women. Like, Marcel, you do realize that if somebody is bad, they come in both genders. You could be a bad woman. You could be a bad man. You could violate as a woman. You could violate as a man. Your issue is with Melody's brother. And I believe your issue is because he's gay. Now, that's my opinion. And then for you talking about some, I should have the right of first refusal. Who told you that? Who told you that the father gets to make a decision about who is watching the kids when the mother is not available? Who told you that was a rule? Who told you that was a thing? Do me a favor, y'all. Give me a quick second. Hit that like button. I'll be right back. So, are there no nannies in Huntsville asking for a friend? I guess. I don't know. Didn't Mel say that her brother watched the kids when they were married? Probably did. I think I did read. I read that somewhere. And let me say this, and then we can get out of here because Tracy dropped the link before. For those who do not know, we'll be over on Giving You the Real Teas channel tonight, doing the roast and review of the last episode of the Queens of R&B, SWV, and Escape. So y'all join us over there at 9 o'clock. But let me say this before I head out. I told you, some of y'all who are new here, y'all don't know this story. So I'm going to say it again. This actually happened to my cousin. Thank you. There's the link right there, you guys. This actually happened to my cousin. and it became a case that could have set precedent. My cousin is a firefighter. Well, he's retired now, but at the time he was a firefighter. And his wife took him to court for full custody. And her grounds were because he is a firefighter. Y'all know how firefighters schedules are. They're like 2 days on, 2 days off, or however it works, 2 days on, 4 days off, or whatever it is. They work like 48-hour or 72-hour shifts, and then they're off the rest of the week. However it worked out. So him and his ex-wife at the time, they had joint custody, right? They operated every other week. They did every other week. And then they traded off holidays, right? Well, she was taking him to court for full custody, and the grounds were because of his job. Because his job did not allow him, because my cousin, okay, he's my cousin. He had another cousin that would watch the kids. If his week fell on days that he had to be at work, he had another cousin of ours that was living there with him that would make sure the kids got to school, pick the kids up from school. And he paid the cousin, you know, and the cousin was a grown adult, wasn't a kid. I mean, a grown adult. But he lived with my cousin. Basically, he had a nanny, but he was a family member. But he was basically his nanny. He lived there at my cousin's house. He picked the kids up from school, dropped the kids off at school. If the kids had any activities, sports, whatever, made sure they went to that. If his week fell and overlapped when he had to be at work, right? So she took him to court basically saying, and her grounds were, well, he can't watch the kids because his job keeps him away. And so what ended up happening was, because this was the type of case that could have set a precedent, because this was a type of case that could have set a precedent that could have, for every firefighter in this area, his union actually paid for his lawyers, and his union actually defended him. And he ended up winning his case because can you imagine if he had lost custody of his kids based on that fact alone because of his job? Can you imagine every divorce attorney in the United States would be using that case as a precedent to say, well, his job or her job keeps her away from the kids, keeps him away from the kids. And so for me, that's how it breaks down in my brain. I'm like, you don't get to keep the kids because Melody has the kind of job that makes her where she has to travel. When it's her week to keep the kids and she has a trip and she has a nanny or her brother or her mother or whomever that she has watching the kids, that is her responsibility and that is her right as a mother. Because I bet you if the situation were reversed and Martell had the kind of job that had him in and out of town all the time, I bet you Mel wouldn't have done it to him. When the show first came on, Martell was taking care of the kids all the time. Yeah, because Mel was out and about. She was doing her thing. I mean, you know, busy. Well, he wasn't taking care of the kids all the time because he had time to have a whole mistress and babies and shit. So he wasn't taking care of the kids all the time. I was just saying. Anyway, y'all, let me get out of here again. Let me get out of here so I can get myself together and be over there on T's channel in 10 minutes. But thank y'all for being here. Shout out to the 106 people in the room. And shout out to everybody hitting that like button. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for the 2 new members, and thank you for the super chat and the Cash App. I thank you for supporting the channel and supporting me. I appreciate it. I will talk to y'all later. Mwah. Peace.
Oh, no.